Thank you, Riv. And I'm joined now by Link and Dexter after that victory over compLexity. Although that game did seem rather close. Were you expecting that type of fight from compLexity?
Not really. It's just because the way we played it makes it a lot more closer. But in reality, we're outscaling them really hard. And it might seem like we're trading tower to tower, but we're actually trading like 2 towers for 1 tower. Or sometimes we're trading like Jack's farm for Renekton farm. And the later the game goes, Jax is just going to kill everyone.
Yeah, Seraph actually kind of his first big game.
Yeah.
5 kills, 2 deaths. Do you want to talk to that a little bit, Dexter?
We didn't expect that we get Jax this game. We actually expect to get Renekton against Jax in matchup, but they didn't pick Jax at all. And we were like, okay, we have really good picks for the 2-on-2 and 1-on-1. And then the level 1 happened. I mean, we got like 2 kills. And then we were like, okay, this game is basically over because we were in a 1-on-2 lane and Seraph got a lot of farm. Like I do jungled with him and I kind of coordinated him where he has to go. And then we got a lot of farm bot lane because I think they messed up the wave somehow because we got a lot of free farm bot lane and that should not happen. Like at this point, when I saw the big wave, Seraph getting the big wave, I was like, damn, we're actually far ahead. Like even if the goal is close, but if you get Jax through like early game and trade Dragon for like 20 CS on Jax, it's so worth it.
Yeah.
And we knew that with our composition, we don't want to fight Dragon at all because Renekton is way stronger than Jax in early game fights. And we were just, okay, we give up first or second Dragon, and we traded for Jax farm and for other objectives of the map. And we were like, okay, we just keep trading until Jax can 1-on-1 Renekton. And when he finally could 1-on-1 Renekton, we were like, okay, we just play 1-1-3. Like me, Afromo, and Doublelift at the bot lane with Morgana, and Elise is really strong with the speed, while Link also can 1-on-1 anyone with LeBlanc. And yeah, that was, I mean, even if the goal is close, there's no way that they could beat the 1-1-3 because if you're ever in a position where you get 1-3-1, basically, the game is over. Like if you have 2 solo lanes that are stronger than the opponents and they can't deal with it, the game is over.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, it was a strange-looking game from the objective point of view because, like you said, the gold was very close throughout, despite you guys getting the first kills. Was that a worry at all, or Link, were you very just set that this is the way we're going to play the game?
It's basically just set that we're going to play the game this way. And obviously, you haven't really seen this kind of playstyle from CLG because we're mostly used to playing like 5v5 rather than this like 1-1-3 team comp. So definitely, we're not used to it, and you can definitely see we kind of like we were kind of shaken up, and we made a couple of mistakes here and there, and that's just because of like miscommunication and because we're just trying to get better as a team. But I think we did okay.
Yeah, unfortunately 0-2-1 on LeBlanc, but it is victory.
Yeah, I really did nothing except for that first kill on.
Yeah, you got the assist. Aside from that, a big turning point in the game obviously was when you were able to sneak that Baron. Yeah. And judging on the ward control of the map, it was actually the one spot compLexity didn't have warded. Yeah. It seemed like that was almost kind of a play for you guys to try and jump ahead. What kind of dangers were you incurring with that move?
Well, I had sweep at the Baron pit, and we knew that they didn't have the time to ward the area. And I was like, okay, we just 2-man Baron right now. And I repel over the wall while Jax comes from the top lane while pushing out Renekton. And when we saw they go bot lane, we were like, okay, we just bait Baron. And if they would have went for Baron, then we would have just pushed them out or catch them off guard. But at the same time, we're like, okay, they don't even react to it. So we just do like a Silver ultimate to just confuse them and run at them. And then it was like, okay, we got Baron. This is game over. So we just closed out the game with the Baron.
And much kind of like your game against EG in week 1, the game seemed close until it was over. You guys again pushed down the bottom wave and ended it. If we can actually pull this clip up on the screen, I want both of you guys to kind of just walk me through why this game ended so abruptly, because the kills are 6-6, the gold is 700 different, but you win on this push. Talk me through.
Well,
I think we just have better power spikes than the enemy.
Yeah, the power spike is so big, and also the entire game is just about tooling people. And I'm literally trying to 1v2 top lane and stopping them from recalling, and we know that the 3-man bottom is just way stronger than the 3-man bottom. Yep. So, and we also have Baron buffs, so that's like, it might not say it in terms of gold, but Baron gives you so much power, and because of that, we're able to win. And then, Jax died a bit earlier in the team fight top lane, or because he was like 1v2ing, and then he just TPs back in, and because of that, we're able to just hold through.
And Dexter, you're probably making a lot of the calls for this 3-man squad down here. What are you saying to the team right now?
Well, actually, we didn't say anything. We were like, okay, we can turn. Like, we knew they would come at us, and then when we got the binding on the Renekton, we just were like, okay, we can turn. And then we got 3 DPS, I followed up with the cocoon on it, and we just killed him for free, pretty much then. After Renekton is dead, there's nothing that Corki can do against Sivir, because you can poke, like you can special this poke, and you can just run at them with Sivir speed, so there's nothing they can do against it. And Zyra is very immobile too, so the second we killed the front line, the game, like they can't do anything pretty much, because we just run at them.
30 minutes, you end up with 4 kills in that final push, and you moved to 4-2 overall. So it seems like a decent start for you guys, but 2-2 in Super Week. What did you kind of do to regroup a little bit after that 500 start?
I think coming into this week, we were playing a lot better in scrims. Like, you could see the improvement from day to day pretty much. And going into Super Week, everyone was like kind of figuring out what to do and how to deal with the new 0 versus 2 meta.
Yeah.
And we fixed our problems, like the big picture problems. We fixed them kind of, and we coordinated the jungle, the duo jungle pretty good. And we just had to work on power spikes basically. Like the same with Jax. Like, we knew that we have to give up Dragon, and in week 1 we would have fought a Dragon even when we shouldn't have. But right now we understand our team comp pretty good, and it's getting better and better. Like, we still have a lot of communication issues. I mean, we still have to figure out how to close out games better, because I actually want to have like 20-minute games. You know, when we have such a good start, I want to have a 20-minute game and see them surrender the game. But
right.
Yeah, we are like giving up kills randomly, which should not happen. And I hope we can work on it. And maybe, like, I think the next week is gonna be a bit tougher than this week. But yeah, also we have like 1 more week to practice. And I think it can only get better from this point.
Yeah, and like you said, next week gets a little tougher. You have a really difficult schedule. Dignitas and Cloud9. Yeah. LMQ fared against the same schedule this week, ended up going 0-2. Final question, actually, Link. What are your thoughts on those two teams as you're preparing for them?
We scrimmed Dignitas a lot before Super Week because we didn't play them then. So this is actually our first match, and we actually did quite well in scrims, but that was actually like the only team that we really did well versus, and that's kind of like surprising because I thought that Dignitas would do a lot worse than what's expected of now, and they're doing really well. So they've surprised me, and maybe they've learned a lot from their mistakes, and I wouldn't be surprised because Skara behind them, along with their analysts, he can be a good motivational factor, and also he's a really good analyst. He's a good player. So I wouldn't be surprised that they're both two really good opponents. Cloud9, I still stand by my beliefs that they are the best team in NA. They're just kind of a bit shaken, and I think that's because Hai is kind of like trying to figure out his champion pool. But I mean, he's been like playing like Kha'Zix middle and stuff. So once he figures that out, I think he's gonna be really strong, and they're gonna be really good. So next week, I'm gonna say 1-1 or 2-0.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a really interesting week nonetheless because a lot of top NA teams are playing against each other. Thank you very much, Dexter Link. Congratulations getting your 2-0. But we have to take one last break. When we come back, it's our final LCS game. Dignitas versus Team Solomid. Then we'll dive into our second